Good morning everybody. Welcome back to another vlog style video of Jay's Mowing here on the Jay's Mowing YouTube channel. Today's Monday. They're giving rain. I mean, I'm sure you can see in the background to my, I guess it'd be your right or my left. My left, probably your right. I mean, it's so wet out. I'm gonna at least go do my property that's out of the way. I did buy a rain poncho to wear if it does start raining. Will said that he could work for me today. I told him it's going to be a late start. Got to go take my son to a brand new daycare. My wife even is going into work later than usual. Let me pick up my phone here. So we're getting a late start, way later than I normally start. It's already 9:30. You know, I'm usually on the property by no later than 9, but usually like 8:30 to 8:45. I'm on the property mowing, you know. So we're getting a little late start here. Hopefully the rain keeps holding up. It's not raining right now. Had an interesting conversation there. I'll be on a radio show in the morning. We'll go from there. I think that's pretty cool. I'll be on Turf's Up Radio. Pretty neat. I'll be talking on a radio show in the morning as long as I can wake up. So I'll have to go to bed early tonight and get up. I am 5 minutes from my first yard. I will probably throw you guys on the tripod and knock this out. It is not raining right now. 76 degrees. There's a guy with 3 mowers. One of them is flipped up. Holy crap. He's barely got any room to put that third one on there. Holy moly. Wonder if that's good for the mower. What the heck? He had the blades like up. The deck was 90-degree angle. All right. Hopefully this grass isn't too awful bad, but let's get a start on the day. I'm going to go as long as possible. After this, I have to go backtrack, pick up Will at Bussey's, roll on to the rest of our yards and get them done as quickly as possible. And then if it's still not raining, it's going to be a long day. We'll probably move up Tuesday, a lot of Tuesday's yards, which is my longest day. We'll probably move those up to today and knock those out. You know, guys, the biggest cheat code for me, that has been for me in this business, is hiring a helper. Even if it's not full-time, even if I've only got 17 yards, that's been the biggest cheat code I've seen so far. It just, man, the amount of time it takes off. I'm gonna set you guys up on the tripod and let's get after it, guys. This is that yard where I have to park in the cul-de-sac unless they leave me some room. Oh yeah, they left me some room. She's not parked there this time. Whoa, guys, it is humid today. I'll just tell you, it's 80 degrees, but man, it's humid. So much of me wants to get rid of this yard that's out of the way. Like, I want to so bad. It's not profitable. I'm not making any profit. The way I'm looking at it right now, it's affording the gas in my truck and mower for the week. But man, It pains my very soul to drive up here every week at the beginning of every week and do this yard. I like the yard. It's an easy yard. They're great customers, but golly, I may have to tell them I have to go up, but it's killing me. It's absolutely killing me. I think I'm already to the point where my minimum's going up to 60. Like, I can't, it's like crushing my soul to come up here and do this yard every week. I love it. I can make it look great, but golly. Hope you guys enjoyed the last video on my pricing spreadsheet matrix and how I've been pricing this year. You know, I have no idea if that's the way, if that's the standard way, if that I've just done square foot pricing on my pressure washing side with a $300 minimum, and I averaged myself, being a solo operator over there until I hired a guy and I pay him $1,000 a week, was $300 an hour if you look at it that way. On the pressure washing side, I didn't like, if I would have priced per hour over there, I would have made a lot less money while I was doing that solo. And over here, especially, I'll just give you an example for Christmas lights of why I don't like pricing hourly. Let's take a permanent light example. This is Christmas lights, but they're permanently mounted to the soffits or front fascia of the eaves and roof line. I charge $45 a foot, linear foot, for my permanent lighting. Now, I'll tell you the hours. This job in particular that I'm going to give you an example of was $5,400 even. The cost of material was $1,871. I paid my help, which was, we got done in 4 hours. I paid him $800 just because it was my second permanent lighting job. And you know, I wanted to pay him well. He did most of the work. I was like, here you go, bud. He's one of my real good buddies. Wasn't really, you know, working for me or all the time or nothing like that. He just needed work. I was like, let's go. I'll pay you real good. Let's get it. I need to get this done as quick as possible. It was coming a very, very cold winter. It was like a blizzard the whole time. We were close to Louisville, Kentucky. Somehow I got the job from all the way over here in central Kentucky, you know, from a referral. And I was like, I have no idea who this guy is, but sure, yeah, I'll do it. No questions asked, accepted the quote, $5,400, $45 a foot, so you can put that together and find out the total footage of that job. So $1,800, we'll just call it $1,900 plus $800 was my total expenses. Now, if I would have priced that job out per hour, $300 an hour, I don't, you know, 4 hours times 300 wouldn't even have covered the cost of materials. Now, I know this is not lawn care, but I'm just giving you an example. That's why I've leaned more towards square footage cost, and maybe I can somehow use square footage to get to my desired hourly rate in this business. I don't know why, and you know, maybe I haven't got to that point yet, or haven't grown a big enough business yet of my own personal experience to have to know exactly the hourly rate of everything. I don't know why we have to have the hourly rate of everything when we're not working an hourly job. In my mind, a business, this is the most KISS, keep it super simple version of business in my mind. And you know, again, my mind can be changed. I'm not saying this is how it is set in stone. You look at your revenue, you subtract your total expenses for the year, and after you subtract the total expenses, you get your profit. You get your profit from your revenue. To me, I don't know why I have to have the exact hourly rate of every little thing in this lawn care business. Maybe it's just this industry. I don't know why that is. This industry is a little bit harder, but at the same time very easy to get into. Pressure washing and soft washing is by far the easiest industry to get into. I can't be proved wrong on that, just from what I've seen. I mean, that's just what my opinion is, and I'll just stand on that opinion. This has a little bit of a barrier to entry to get into, because you have to go buy a pretty decently expensive mower to really be able to get stuff done in the right amount of time. But maybe it pertains to just this industry having to price everything out per hour and what everything is costing you per hour. I'm used to a flat rate, one-time job pricing. I don't really go off hours. I didn't know that $5,400 job was going to take us 4 hours. There was no way I could have known that. And the expenses being just for materials $1,900. If I would have priced it at $300 an hour, you know, even $600 an hour is $2,400. I would have barely have covered the cost for materials, and I paid my help $800. I wouldn't have been able to do that. It would have been $1,900. You would take $2,400 revenue minus $1,900 at $600 an hour. Maybe you would do it by $1,000 an hour. That's $4,000. That's even less for a permanent lot job. So I don't. Maybe it just pertains to lawn care. It's just, I don't really look at it per hour. And there's a guy in my main zip code with a lawn care company, and he's got over 286 5-star reviews. He pays a guy to run his truck. He pays a guy to run his truck and a trailer with a mower, weed eater, edger, blower, and he pays him $1,000 a week, just flat. He tells them that you could work weekends, depending on how quick you get it done. I don't know how that model works, but if it's anything like the pressure washing side, I make plenty of profit, enough to live off of, and not have to worry about this business's profit to live off of. Somebody will have to get in the comments and explain to me why, on this side, in lawn care, why lawn care is different from any other businesses in terms of just looking at the 3 items that are most important: revenue, expenses, and your profit margin. Why do I have to know exactly how many hours it costs me to buy a paper clip? And maybe that, that's just my ignorance maybe in this industry, but somebody needs to explain that to me. I don't like pricing per hour, never have. I started pricing per hour with pressure washing because I looked at a house and I was like, well, shoot, I can wash a house. I can wash a 7 myself. I can soft wash and rinse a 7,000 square foot home in 45 minutes. If I price that per hour, and let's say I want $300 an hour, that would be like $275. That would be insane to me to price a house wash at $275 for 7,000 square foot. If I was to get a call today and I was solo washing, so I would take 7,000 and I would times that by 30 cents per square foot, that's $2,100. So, and that's in 45 minutes. So if I price that per hour, I'm not making no money, which is why I would do square foot on that side. And I know that's a different business. I know that's a different pricing model. Yeah, somebody's got to tell me why I need to know the costs per hour of everything and why I can't just look at the revenue, expenses, and profit margin. Like, I don't think it's any different. And you look, when you want to pay somebody hourly, let's just say, I don't know, $20 an hour. Let's just say you pay somebody $40,000 a year to mow and weed eat and stuff for you. Shoot. Let's say your profit margin, I'm just making hypothetical numbers here. This is not real numbers. Let's say you're making $300K, your total expenses, let's say you're making $200K to make it easier. Say you're doing really, really well with one-time projects, your bread and butter mowing and Christmas lights, and you're bringing in $200K revenue, you times that, let's say you make a really good profit margin of 0.4, which is 40% profit margin, you're $80K. Let's say you pay a guy, let's say it's after you pay a guy, that would be $80,000 profit. Would I take all the hours that I had worked doing all those projects and all those hours that we were on site, and would I divide the $80K by those hours? Or how, why can't I just look at that and be like, hey, my business is making $80,000 a year profit, but we're doing $200,000. And that's a very high profit margin. Let's go lower. Let's say it's $200,000, pay somebody really good. Let's do 20%. That's $40,000 a year. So why do I need to know? Why can't I just look at P&L and revenue expense equals profit, revenue minus expense equals profit, and be like, hey, we're doing over 200K a year revenue. Some people wear that like a great deal, but it's like, if you do a 20% profit margin, that's $40,000 profit. Do I need to know the hourly cost of everything, or can I just look at that? I don't know. Somebody's going to have to explain that to me in the comments or somewhere, or link me a video or something, because I don't know. I don't know why this industry is any different from which I'm used to a lot of one-time jobs. This is my first recurring revenue business. To me, it's the same. It just, mixes in the water. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to explain to me. I don't have all the answers, but I'm headed to pick up Will. This is probably all the talking we're going to do until the end, and after that last time lapse, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. The rain's holding off, guys. The rain's holding off. I may be able to get a whole lot done. Let's get after it, guys. Me and Will were getting after it today. We were able to not only do all Monday's yards, but we were also able to do 3 of our Tuesday yards and move them up because the rain has held off now until another 2 hours from now. Will has had like 4 yards, like his 2 neighbors, and then he's got a couple down the road from him. So he said that he had to go, take care of his yards, and he just push mows them. I said, that's fine, no problem. I appreciate all your help today. I went and done one more by myself that takes me by myself, 18 minutes. Very, very tiny yard, priced at $58 a week. So I went and took care of that by myself. About what I was talking about earlier, I understand that underbidding yourself, especially when you don't know no better, is bad. I think that everyone has to have a baseline. Like, I was talking in a private group. It's actually Brian's private group, Brian Lawn Maintenance, somebody asked how to price and how they do Christmas lights. Well, I said, I do the leasing model, and I charge them between $10 and $12 a foot. While somebody else commented, said, so you store the lights and everything? I was like, yes. Basically, at the end of the day, the lights are still mine, and I can recycle them and reuse them for other clients if a client cancels on me. And that might blow a lot of people's minds that I do that. But that other guy said that he does the model where he charges for the light, he charges them, lets them buy the lights, basically charges them for the materials, and then he charges like $3 or $4 a foot. And to me, that's like alien language. I'm like, oh my gosh, why? What? That's crazy to me. That's like the sale model. And I've had some of those calls come in, and people go, I already have my own lights, I just need you to put them up. I had a guy that used to do it, he don't do it no more, blah, blah, blah. And I always tell him the reason why he doesn't do it anymore because he wasn't making any money at the end of the day. He really wasn't making any money at the end of the day. So that's why I like the lease model where I own everything and they basically rent lights from me, a month or two out of the year. But I want to circle back to people need a baseline to go off of, but also I think especially starting out a business, you have to keep it super simple, the KISS method. Otherwise, a lot of guys aren't even going to start. I just know a lot of guys aren't even going to start. And while, yes, the failure rate for especially in service-based business, lawn care, pressure washing, Christmas light businesses that start up and feather out after a season, you name landscape, you name whatever industry of service-based business, a lot of them don't last 2, maybe 3 years. The failure rate is extraordinarily high. 5 years, it's like 86%. I get that, and at the end of the day, it comes down to not knowing their numbers, not making money. But to me, I think you don't have to be as pinpoint, I don't need to know how many hours a paperclip is costing my company. I can just look at the P&L and look at that stuff. And that's also why my wife is looking to get into bookkeeping. And she might tell me I'm completely wrong when she goes and she takes accounting 101 and all this other stuff, that $1,500 class she's going to go take. And she may tell me I'm all wrong, and she may look at my numbers and be like, you need to start charging this, you need to make X, you need to make this, right now you're at this, it's not what it was. But I think just starting out, especially just to get the ball rolling, guys just need to keep it super simple, have a baseline price, take a look at, based on those baseline prices, don't go out here and charge $30 a yard, $39 a yard, $35 a yard. Don't go in, $15 a yard. Will said he knows a guy in a trailer park nearby where he lives that charges $15 a yard in 2025, and I was like, oh my gosh. Obviously don't do that, but have a baseline, find somebody or someone and find a baseline, and then, it's going to depend on your location, depend on your efficiency, how quick you get stuff done, what's your overhead. My overhead's very, very low. I don't take any of the profits from this business, especially this year. I may not even take any of the profits next year or the year after that. I'm in a good enough position where I can do that. My wife is looking to get out of working into her 9-to-5 and start her own thing. We're lucky enough that I've built something in the past 5 years that can afford us not having to take from a business. Now, if I start having the need to take from this business, that's when it's going to get to, okay, I need to get more detailed. I need to make sure I'm charging enough. I need to get rid of the cheap, no, I can't service you guys clients and take on more clients at the appropriate pricing, 3 years in. I think when somebody's starting out, they need to just go. Just go. You don't have to worry about how much you buy an Arizona 99-cent tea. How many hours do I need to work to afford that while I'm out and about to drink it? I don't need to know that. That's too. You're adding on too much complication, especially in the lawn care industry, where most guys that get into this are not businessmen. They are not guys that have a business aptitude. They do not, a lot of them are tired of working at a factory, tired of working at a restaurant, tired of working in Will's case, a warehouse setting like Menards or Lowe's. And they're just like, you know, I see guys mowing all the time, you know, I'll do it. And then they start mowing for little or nothing, you know, 20, 25 bucks. Obviously, that's not how you want to do it. But you got to look at it from their perspective. They're not very business savvy. They're not very number savvy, a lot of them. You know, some of them may come from the corporate world. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, you know, it may be my blatant ignorance of the lawn care space, and, you know, somebody that's been doing it more than, you know, however long may be like, well, here's how I got to millions and millions in so many crews, and you know, that's actually not right. And maybe that's how it is. After you get to a certain level, then you start having to give it more detail. But I think just trying to replace your income, especially for guys just starting out, I don't think you have to get down to the nitty gritty of knowing, like, how long does it take me to afford this 99-cent Arizona tea, by the way, which is delicious. How many yards does it take? What minutes does it take for me to afford this? I think that's just that's overcomplicating it. Especially as somebody just trying to get the ball rolling and get to a certain gross revenue, and then they start looking at it. I think they just need to keep it super simple. Look at their gross revenue. Don't really worry about hours and how long it takes you your first year. Look at your gross revenue at the end of the day. Look at your expenses that you spent, and look at your profit. And that's your profit. You know, don't worry about how many hours it's going to take me to pay for this camera that I'm recording this video on. You know, it's just too much complication, in my opinion, especially somebody just starting out, somebody solo. No dissing of anyone, nothing like that. I'm just saying my opinion. That's overcomplicated, because I see so many guys that they will find any excuse, and you can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Guys will find any excuse as to why they did not start their lawn care business this year, their lawn mowing business this year, their landscaping business this year, pressure washing, Christmas lights, why they're not starting this year. Guys will, if they find a sliver of an excuse, it's just too complicated, I have to know how to work back and how many hours it's going to take me to pay off that mower. I'm waiting to save up to buy this course or this, that, the other. You know, guys come up with there's just way too many excuses that guys, I think guys just need to just go, get the ball rolling, find a baseline price, go, just get it. Don't look at your competitors, base yourself off their pricing, maybe at the very beginning, whatever, but at the end of the day, keep it simple. Your competitors are more than likely going out of business within the next 5 years, and remember that. So that's why I say don't base your pricing off their pricing, because I'm just going to tell you, I was charging $700 for certain homes to house wash last year, and guys were trying to undercut me for $450, and I still ended up winning the job just because I had done that job before. So guys are always racing to the bottom. They jump into stuff. They don't know what they're doing. I get it. I get that. But at the end of the day, keep it simple. Don't worry about and overcomplicate things and have to know every little bitty dime that's going to every little bitty thing. At the end of the day, look at revenue, expenses, profit. So that's a little point that I wanted to make in this video for this Monday. Be on the lookout for some more quick banger videos. Next video is going to be talking about lifetime value of a customer. Lawn care, I look at a 3-month spread of lifetime value. You can also look at annual lifetime value, but I'll talk about that in a later video. All right, guys, peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.